Good day, everyone. Now, let's assume we want to simplify uh, this question that we have. Simplify open brackets 1/4 close brackets everything raised to the power of 1 2 minus 1/2. Now, if you want to simplify this, the first thing you need to know is that this problem is coming from indices. This problem is coming from indices. So here, the first thing you're going to do is that you have to find a way to remove that minus that is part of the power. So you're going to find a way to remove that minus that is part of the power. So how are you going to remove the minus? Okay, now the next thing you're going to do here is that you're going to have something like this, open brackets. Instead of 1/4, you're going to write 4/1. They are going to close the bracket. They are going to write 1/2. Now, what actually happened? The minus to turn the fraction in the bracket upside down. So that is actually how you can do this, meaning that you can use the minus if anytime you have minus as your power, and then you can use that minus to turn the fraction in the bracket. That is when you have fraction. So in the bracket upside down, and then the minus is gone, meaning that you're going to take away the minus for turning what is in the bracket upside down. So the next thing you're going to do now, is that what is in the bracket is going to be simplified further, meaning that 4/1 is actually 4, because we all know that anything divided by 1 is that thing. So everything raised to power 1/2. Now, the next thing we are going to do now is that we can actually remember one of the laws of indices that whenever we have a fractional power, that anytime you have a fractional power, the fractional power in the sense that, look at this 1/2 is a fraction. So that is why we call it fractional power. So meaning that whenever you have a fractional power, now the denominator of that fraction is going to determine the root. The denominator of the fractional power is going to determine the root. So what do I mean by that? The denominator here is actually 2. So I'm going to be writing square root. Now, if the denominator is 3, I'm going to be writing cube root. If the denominator is 4, I'm going to be writing cube fourth root, and so on and so forth. So here I'm going to write something like this. So I'm going to write square root. I hope we all know why I'm writing square root, because the power is a fractional power, and when I check the denominator of the fractional power, it is 2. So I'm going to write square root. If it is 3, you're going to write cube root. If it is 4, you're going to write fourth root, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to write, then what I have here is going to be 4. So now everything raised to the power of the numerator. So if you check the numerator, you discover that it is 1. Even though the fractional power law used to be in 2 ways. That is the one where you have the numerator to be 1. And in that case, you don't need to put raised to power 1, because anything raised to power of 1 is actually that thing. So, but it doesn't matter. You can choose to do it like this, that is putting the 1. So the next thing is that the square root of 4, everybody knows that the square root of 4 is actually 2. So we have 2 raised to power of 1. Then that is going to be 2 raised to power of 1 is actually going to give us what? It's actually going to give us 2. And that is how to solve this problem. Well, we can actually solve this problem in another way. That is, if you have open bracket 1/4, everything raised to power minus 1/2, So what you're going to do here, I think one of, like, what some people actually know is that this minus, they are going to use it to write 1 over. Well, that is very correct. That is very correct. So once you use the minus to write 1 over, then the next thing you're going to do is that you're going to rewrite everything without the minus now. Everything you have, you're going to rewrite it without the minus. So this is going to be open brackets 1 over 4. Then I'm going to have 1 over 2 here like this. So meaning I'm trying to rewrite everything without the minus, because I have used the minus to rewrite 1 over, because in indices, minus means 1 over. So I'm going to say is equals to 1 over. Then what is going to happen now is that down here, I can actually apply what I applied earlier. That is, I have what? I have a fractional power in my denominator. The fractional power of what? 1 over 2. We can see it. Fractional power of 1 over 2. So, and that is the fractional power. Anytime you have a fractional power, please, you're going to check the denominator of that fractional power. That is going to determine the root you are going to write. So since the fractional power is 1 over 2 and the denominator is 2, then I'm going to write square root. So here, now we write square root. Square root of what? That means square root of 1 over 4. We write square root of 1 over 4, right? Good. Then everything raised to power of what? The numerator, which is 1. Everything raised to power of the numerator, which is 1. So here now we can say that we are going to have 1 over. And what is the next thing? The denominator is actually square root of 1 over 4. Then the square root of 1 is going to be what? Well, the square root of 1 is 1. Then over, what about the square root of 4? Well, the square root of 4 is 2. Then everything raised to the power of what? Everything raised to the power of 1. You know that anything raised to the power of 1, anything raised to the power of 1 is actually that thing. Anything raised to the power of 1 is actually that thing. So I'm going to complete it here. So I have 1 over 2, because 1 over 2 raised to the power of 1 is 1 over 2. So meaning that this is going to be something like this, equals to, don't forget, in mathematics, something is always equals to something. So you don't forget your equals to, so equals to. Now, the next thing is that I'm going to write 1. Then this division that I'm having here, I'm talking about this division here, I'm going to write it this way. I'm going to write it this way. So I'm going to write it this way, divided by 1 over 2. And because everybody's kind of used to this, so here I'm going to write 1, then the division I'm going to turn into multiplication. Then this fraction in front, I'm going to turn it upside down, which is going to be 2 over 1. So I'm going to have 2 over 1. And I'm going to have 1 times 2. You know, in multiplication of fraction, you multiply numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. So I have y times 2 is going to give me 2 over 1. Then 2 over 1 is going to give me 2. So I hope you understand this. Thank you.